Hey everybody, Jason and Wanetah here, and today we're going to talk about how to sell high level to any niche on the planet. I know we always get questions about what niche should I be in, what audience should I target, so we're going to help you all today with answering that question. Isn't that right, Wanetah?
That's right. So I noticed that is like the most frequently asked question, right? When you're starting off, and of course, decidedly so, right? Like you have no idea what your niche is going to be. You know that it's really important, but today, hopefully, what we can do for you is explain how you really don't have to overthink this thing, okay? Because first of all, I just want to say that if unless you come from an industry like Jason used to be in real estate, right? So naturally, he would target real estate agents because he knows what real estate agents desire, what their pain points are, all of that, right? He has that experience. So naturally, he would come in with a targeted niche. But when you don't have that kind of experience, or you're ready to just totally get out of a certain industry, what you hopefully this helps you just relax into it. You don't necessarily have to find your niche. You can just let your niche find you. And I know that sounds like, oh, kumbaya, but it's true. And today, hopefully, we show you some things that allows you to really believe that and allows you to just move forward and build momentum and let that niche happen to you naturally.
Yeah, because so many times I know, like you said, Wanetah, when I first started, I had a real estate background. I had several thousand, if not hundreds of thousands of agents that I could reach out to. So I instinctively went into that industry, but through that process found so many other people that I just came across in everyday life, a tree service person or a insurance person or different people that I say, "Oh, this could actually work for everyone that I'm encountering." So, and the real estate market really wasn't the best market for me, would come to find out. So really what I want today to be about is showing you a lot of features that High Level has, some that you may not know about. And then we'll talk about, okay, if I was going to work with a plumber, what would I offer them? If I was going to work with a coach, what would I offer them? And really give you simple packages that you could start thinking about to offer to those people.
Right. So just because high level does everything, it seems like high level does so much, right? It's really tempting to just show everything that high level can do to everyone. But hopefully, what we help you realize is that we're going to go through basically the two models of clients that you can service through high level and just show you that although high level does so much and can do all kinds of things for each client, you don't want to overwhelm them and you just want to be really careful and cater the services and tools to the client specifically. So once you understand who you're servicing, what their profession is, and their pain points, which is going to be really important, you can then just chip away at the things that they don't necessarily need. And also, depending on where they are in their business, we're going to talk a lot about that. You can just roll out these services for them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And as always, I just want to let you guys know you can go to ghlfree.com. That will give you a free 30-day trial to High Level if you don't have one already. That is for the SaaS Pro plan. That's the top tier plan. And at any point during that time, if you need to downgrade to a lower tier, you can. But this gives you access to all the features so you can try it out for yourself for literally no money for 30 days. So it's a great way to really experience all the things that we're talking about, hopefully go out and get some clients based on our videos and what we talk about on this channel. And then as you move forward, you'll get more and more clients. But the great thing about High Level is you only have one fixed cost every single month. So you can literally have your own software company today just by signing up with this link, and then have a million clients in the future if you want to, and you're only going to pay High Level one fee.
Yeah, and so I mean, I think this video is really important to everyone just signing up. And the reason is because of the 30-day free trial, right? You want to get rolling as fast as possible. And so that's really what Jason and I try to target these videos around is how do we get you up and moving as fast as possible? Because once you get one client, it's easier to get the next, right? And so we just want to get you rolling out there, moving as fast as possible so that by the end of that 30 days, you're already in business. Because once you're in business, I mean, it's nothing, right? And this thing will pay for itself. So I just want to start off with the whole niche idea.
Mm.
I want to say that we understand why you are thinking so heavily about choosing the right niche because it is important, okay? But what you have to understand with high level is that with marketing agencies, it used to be like this. Like if I'm working with, let's say, dentists, my first few clients are dentists, so I just end up in the dentistry niche, then it's very hard to then say if some insurance person comes along, right, wanting your services, and you're like, oh gosh, I have to change everything. Like, I don't know anything about insurance and I don't have the templates or anything like that, right? Well, with high level, the templates are there for you, right? And if you are good with sitting with your clients and just listening, people will tell you what they need, right? So it's much easier these days to start over in a different niche than it used to be. So I just want to relieve you of the stress that comes with that because if you just say, you know what, I don't care what niche it is right now, I'm just going to sit and I'm going to be a good listener and I'm going to find out from them like what their pain points are, what services they really need at this time, then you can get moving. High level, it'll pay for itself. You can start to actually profit, and then you can decide like, do I am I ready to veer and pivot into something different, or do I love this and it's so easy for me to replicate that
Right.
I'll just stay in this lane?
Yeah, I say the same thing a lot with getting just a simple SaaS product out there to whoever you can get signed up to get your expenses covered in the early days. And then you're free to try different things. And maybe you'll find that you like working with a certain type of person that you never expected, or you're just selling features to all kinds of business owners, which is a really cool way to niche down just based on a feature set versus a type of industry. So there's a lot of different ways that you can spin this, but I think it's great to look at all the available products that you can sell, and then we can start coming up with some ideas on how to make packages for those different audiences.
Right, awesome. So basically, what we've come up with is there are two or three types of clients that you're going to come across, right? And it's really not about their niche, it's more so about where are they in their business, right? Are they just starting out, or are they more established, or are they like at expert level, ready to really grow and expand and just really open up their influence in their specialized field, right? So basically, everyone is a service provider. There are companies and businesses that sell products, right? And high level can be used for that. But we are looking at people who are service providers in all different areas, right? Whether they're an electrician or a therapist, or Jason, what do you like to use? Plumbers,
Yeah,
real
plumbers,
estate agents.
roofers, a lot of those local services, especially like emergency type services, plumbers, roofers, people that have that do like AC repair, HVAC, that kind of stuff. I like
Yeah,
those
dentists.
industries. Yep.
Yeah,
Emergency dentist, that's great too.
absolutely. So these people, what we notice is that there are the necessary nine. Okay. That's just what we call it to cover it. I'm sure high level does even more, but we are still learning and growing as we go as well. But the necessary nine basically says that someone definitely needs a website, right? And if they're going to get a website from us, they're going to get a website with a chat widget, right? A calendar. They need a social media poster, a Google chat widget, missed call text back. We have invoice, tap to pay, which is pretty new, and reviews. And so I just want to take you through this journey, right? So, whatever niche it is, let's just say that once they get into business, they need a website. Everybody knows they need a website, right? So you have your website. Maybe they already have a website, but if they're just beginning, we definitely want to supply them with a website and with the chat widget, right? And then that is because we need them to have a place where people can find them, right? Whether it's their product or their services, they need a place to send people. And once they send them there, then they need a calendar because they need a way to book people, right, for their services. After that's set up and they have a place to send people, they need to market. And there's no better way, especially when you're first starting out, even if you're well established. There's no better way to market these days than social media. Why? Because that's where all the traffic is, right? That's where they can really put themselves out there. And I'll tell you this, if you ask any business owner what their pain points are, like what are they really struggling with, 9 times out of 10, they will tell you it's social media. So, a question I like to ask people is, how much do you hate social media? Because it's provoking, right? And I do that on purpose because most of the time they're going to tell you, oh my God, I hate it. And the reason is because they are not social media experts. They are roofers and plumbers and electricians and realtors, and ain't nobody got time for that, right? So it's a pain point, and a lot of people are camera shy. A lot of people feel like, I tried it. I posted something, it got 3 likes and they never post it again, right? It's just a huge fear factor behind that. And then there's the other side of if they don't have those issues, they feel like they have to be everywhere all the time. And that is so exhausting.
Yeah. And if it wasn't clear already, everything we're covering today is included in High Level's plan. So these are all services you can offer to people, but we're identifying what basic businesses would need and the different ways that you can package these things up to offer to a new business owner or an established business owner to help them get more leads and close more sales.
Right. Yeah. So in this journey, so now we're providing them an easy way to market their skills and their services, and then we talk to them about Google Chat. Hopefully they're already on Google and they have a profile, but we show them this great feature. Jason, do you want to show all of these
I think
features that we have,
no, I
or
think I think that would take hours to do each of these, and we have tons of videos that do each individual one.
okay.
But with the Google Chat, it's basically just connecting their Google profile to Google, and now there's a little chat button where people can find them on Google and literally start communication right there on Google with them.
Yeah, and this sounds really basic and simple, but a lot of businesses don't have this, and you have to remember speed to lead, right? So it's just like if you can just make yourself as quickly accessible as possible, then you've already won. You've beat so many people, right? So instead of me having to click on your website and go and look through and then find the button, like I can just be like, I like this profile for some reason. I'm just going to click on chat and I get to chat with you, right? And that client receives the chat on their phone and they can just use their phone just like a text message and chat back. So that's a really powerful tool that not a lot of people have. And anything that makes anybody feel like they have a bit of an edge is a win. So we put in the Google chat and then the missed call text back. Now, if someone is just starting off, this might not be one that they can really see the value in. Okay. It's because why? They don't have a lot of leads, they don't have a lot of things, people calling them all at once because they're just now in business. So I want you to be very careful when you are, I guess, diagnosing their business, right? And where someone is, you don't want to offer them things that they don't need. Why is that, Jason?
Just because I made that mistake at the very beginning as well. I know we were so excited about all the different features that High Level had that it's hard to say, okay, I'm going to just only talk about this one thing when I know there's so many other things I can offer them. But really, what ended up happening is we overwhelmed them, right? We were all talking about 50 different things, 49 of which they didn't care about because they didn't even understand what we were talking about. And because we promised it to them, now we have to set those things up. But if we would have at the beginning really narrowed it down to a few features like we're going to talk about today, and then scaled up after that, we would have had a lot more success in the early days, I think.
Absolutely. And there's another issue with this is if you tell someone, if you try to oversell somebody and tell them about all the features that they don't need, you disqualify them. Because to them they're going to be like, "Oh, I don't need all of this." Like, "Oh, I'm not even there yet. Maybe I don't need this or that either because I'm just getting started. I don't have that problem." Or you might you might make someone feel like, "Oh man, like now I have more problems than I even knew about." Right? So you just want to meet them where they are at. And I think that is like literally the whole main point of this video is when you are working with a prospective client, just listen to them, listen for their pain points, and then just meet them where they're at. Because if someone gives me 3 problems and I give them 3 solutions, we end that conversation and that meeting very satisfied and happy, right? I am the answer to their problem. But if someone gives me 3 problems and I answer those 3 problems and then I ask them, well, do you have this and do you have that? Now I'm actually giving them more problems. And they're like, "Oh, man, I didn't even know I had that problem, or I didn't know I needed that," or do you know what I mean? So, you really gotta be careful to be like, "Okay, that's enough. Wrap it up."
Yeah, and this isn't to say again that you can't offer more things in the future, but that step up process is great because you can solve the three problems. They're working, everything is working great, they're happy. And then a few months in, you say, hey, we've been doing a great job so far. We also have X, Y, and Z. Is that a problem that you're facing? And you can scale them up to higher tiers of your software just naturally versus overwhelming them all up front.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what we try to do here. We literally try to put them in order as far as if you show the list again, Jason, like if you look at the list, it's website. Everybody needs a website. First and foremost, you need a website. If you're going to have a website, maybe put the chat widget on there, right? And the calendar. So I try to put them in the order of necessity, right? And you'll see that once we jump into the next category of coaches and influencers, but you'll really see that we were trying to be as thoughtful as possible as to what is truly necessary if you're working with someone just starting. And we're going to talk even more about growing that relationship and holding back on all the services so that you have a reason to stay connected. And as they grow, you can grow with them. You can be a part of their growth, no
Yep.
matter where they are in their journey, right?
Right.
So, missed call, text back, that is something so important for service providers. If they're out doing their job, they cannot answer the phone, and you don't want to miss out on any potential lead. So, that is something fantastic. Now, that is for somebody who may be more established, they've got their business rolling. And that's to say the same thing for somebody that you meet with might already have a website, but do they have the chat widget? Is that just something you can throw on there with a few other features and still provide service to them or provide tools to start the relationship?
Right.
And then, of course, the invoicing, we have tap to pay. So tell us about tap to pay, Jason, because I know that's new and that's not for everyone, but it's a great feature.
Yeah, and why I like these features, the invoicing and the tap to pay, is because when you can make someone money through your system, then they're a lot more sticky, right? If your system processed a payment for them and that money went into their bank, now you're a vital part of their business, right? So invoicing is similar to plumber going out to a property and sending somebody a manual invoice and then them having to pay. But the tap to pay is like the next even better version of that. And what I mean by that is they can literally, with their phone, somebody can tap their credit card on it and pay right there. This is great for, we've talked about the example of a farmer's marketer or just any service provider that has to be out in the field and maybe they have additional charges once they get there that weren't on the invoice, or they just like to collect all of their payment right at the door, no matter what. They literally just punch in $5,000, hold the phone out, the customer taps their credit card to the phone, and the payment is processed, the money goes over to the business owner. So it's a great thing that you can demo, which will just blow their mind because most people have the little card readers that you have to swipe the card, but then they have to have this device they have to connect to their phone and configure it and all. This literally just works.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, any way that they can get paid easier is going to be a plus. And you can ask them, make sure that you are asking the right questions because what I would do is I would go through and just talk to them and ask them about, I would choose all of these features and I would ask them about them. Like, how much do you hate social media, right? Like, get that pain point there, see if that's something that they need. So I would write that down and I put that in the bundle. But when it comes to the tap to pay, I used to have a audition taping service, right? And so these actors would come in to tape their audition and they only had a limited time slot. Right. So 30 minutes. And if they needed to go over and there was time and nobody was in that next slot, they would just ask, like, hey, can we extend this? And then I'll pay whatever I owe. So in that situation, if that were my business and I was talking to a potential client, them telling me that story of like, is that something that you come across? Like how Jason said, if you're working on site, do you work on site a lot? Is it a hassle to pay, do you have to wait to get paid? Right? Like, I have to go back to the office, send you an invoice, and then wait for you to respond. Like, then that person, you're basically telling someone, I can help you get paid faster. So that's a really powerful tool,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. Anytime, again, you can collect payment for somebody and help them make more money, and you can verify like this money processed through our system. Now they're very sticky. How many times do people cancel a bank account or a credit card? But once they have that mechanism for paying or receiving money, it's not likely for them to go and move over somewhere else.
Absolutely right. And then I believe the last one on there is reviews. And so, of course, I put that at the end because what I was trying to do is how do I service this person throughout their actual journey, right? From I have this business, meaning my website is up, I'm open for business, people are booking, I'm marketing, and they are trying to contact me because of my marketing efforts. And then now they want to pay me. So it's invoice, tap to pay. And then last but definitely not least is reviews for service providers is huge. It's so huge. And you can watch several videos where Jason takes you through. You can basically just build a business off of reviews, right? Because there are a lot of established businesses out there who just have never taken the time to do this and they don't realize the power in it, or
Yep.
they don't know how, or they know it's really tedious to go out there and ask people for reviews, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The review thing is so key because it helps the full circle happen, right? As people get more business, they close more sales, they collect more money, then they get more reviews, then that will bump them higher up on Google, make them more trustworthy, and thus get them more business. And it just becomes this big circle of helping the business owner grow. And the reviews can happen automatically. You set something up one time, and then every time they close a sale, you can set up trigger to have review requests go out to those customers over and over again.
Yeah.
So it's a great system that you set up once and just works after that.
Yeah, I always think of the saying work begets work, right? Like work just begets work. Once you have if it's a new restaurant and I'm super hungry and I don't want to risk it, right? But if there's a lot of reviews, you're more likely to go. It's just a psychological human thing, I guess. We trust other people's opinions and we want a lot of them. So just remind your clients that work begets work.
Yep.
Okay, so hopefully you just see our strategy there. But before we move forward, if you'll scroll up, there you go, Jason. So let's just say that let's throw out some professions and just choose what we would offer, right? Because the point is what we'd like for what we're suggesting that you could do when you're selling this is get to know your client really well and then pick a few things right now that you could sell them on. Don't try to sell them all of this stuff, right? Because, like Jason said earlier, as you go and as they grow, they're going to need more tools. And then you can just start to slowly introduce these things. And that not only just keeps you useful and it allows you to upsell, right? Or sell more to them, but it allows the relationship to last. And it gives you a reason to reach out and say hello and be top of mind, right? So you're really this doing it this way is allowing you to really build a lasting, long relationship with them.
Yep.
So let's say, Jason, that what about if you're a restaurant? Because I know we don't look at that as service providers, but they are.
Yeah. I like a few different things for restaurants. Number one, I would say is reviews. I know anytime I go out and look at a new pizza place or anything, and we're going out to dinner, I'm trying to find what reviews the place has. Sometimes it helps me, sometimes it doesn't. But regardless, I'm going to check reviews for a new spot. So I think
He's so bad at this, y'all. I mean, he's so diligent and he does it and he really does go off of reviews, but
yeah,
I don't know. He's gotten us into
yeah,
some sticky
sometimes it's
stuff.
a little off. But regardless, selling this to a business owner, if I only had one thing to offer, it would be reviews to them. And then
What about the
probably
social media poster?
that would be, also important. I think that would help, but I think reviews, if I had to have a hierarchy of what's most important, I would say reviews and then the social media posting tool. The missed call text back would be a huge one too. because a lot of times, especially during busy rush hours, or if somebody's trying to schedule a dinner party or something, if they're calling and not getting an answer, then they might just call the next restaurant over, or they might, if they're on a quick turnaround for lunch, they might decide, okay, this place is too busy. They're not going to have our food ready in time. I'm going to call the next company.
That's a good idea. I didn't think about that one for restaurants in particular,
Yep.
but especially with what AI is doing now with the chatbots, and it could be unbelievable because I'm trying to think of like reasons why people would call a restaurant besides to order to go. That's probably like the number one, but to check on reservations, maybe to make reservations or to see what time they close or if they're open. I know we do that a lot. Before we drive all the way over there, let's make sure that this place is open.
Yep.
So actually, AI can now just answer all of those questions for
Yep.
you. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and we don't have it on this list, but High Level also now has, I just thought of it, has a new phone tree system. So a lot of these companies, like a restaurant or whatever, can have where you call in and it's like press one to order, press two for our hours, press three for sales
Right.
or whatever for catering. So you can help the business owner that way as well by using automations to reduce some of the calls they get for common questions every single day.
Right. Yeah, then that's really helpful.
Like, how many times does a restaurant staff have to answer the phone and say, "Our
Exactly.
hours are 9 to 9?"
Right. And they're swamped, they're slammed, and then people are coming through the door and the hostess is ignoring you because she's on the phone, right? And then it's just a really bad first impression. So
Yep,
that's great. Okay, so we've got that. We've got the social media poster, missed call, text back, tap to pay. That be
that might be for, like, a smaller place. A tap to pay is more, I think, for people that are out in the field, and that might be, like, for catering or something if they're sending people out. I think tap to pay would probably be a less used feature unless they're, because most restaurants have their own CRM of some sort to process payments
right.
or some,
That's
but there are uses, I'm sure, for that. I think that probably wouldn't be my top choice for them. And then Google Chat too. A lot of times, if they can set up that Google Chat on their phone, they will need to have somebody that's monitoring this stuff right throughout the day. So somebody has to be assigned to like social media and chat and things like that. But that could really turn into a lot of business and totally pay for that person that's working there.
would stop there, especially like
Website, of course, too. If they don't have a website, I see a lot of restaurants that don't, so that might be a spot too.
yeah, and so let's just say that once we find out, so we just threw out a niche there, but we didn't necessarily ask where this business was, right? Like, are they just starting out? Because if they are just starting out, they most likely do not have a social media manager, right? They have somebody doing it. And so that's like an easy sell, especially if you can just bundle these things, but maybe they do already have a website. If not, like, I mean, you can give them the whole shebang if they're brand new and they have the budget. But a lot of these people that you're going to be coming into contact with aren't necessarily, if they're starting off, they don't necessarily have a big budget for it. So I would just pick a few things that the social media poster, the reviews, and your Google chat. I think we said missed call text back. The three or four things like that you could just package up that they definitely need, even if they already have their website,
Yeah,
right?
and businesses live and die off of reviews, so that's why I would go number 1 with that, and then scale up from there. But like Juanita said, get a few features and just start going door to different restaurants, showing them your system, and you'll make some sales.
Yep, absolutely. I do want to say this because I think a lot of you, another most frequently asked question is, how do I sell? How do I sell this stuff? So I just want to say that I know that Jason just said go to door and start talking to these restaurants, right? But that might not be your style. I will say that going door to door is fantastic for anyone to do. I used to have a job where I not only were we going door to door, but we had to get into the door. We had to go into these people's homes selling insurance, and it taught me so much, but that's a little off track. But if that's not your style, so to speak, just email. You can set up these small, short templates, these really quick questions that just pique someone's interest. You can email a bunch of restaurants and then maybe set up an in-person meeting with them if you want to go locally, but you don't have to do it that way. But you do need to, if you're not going to go face to face or door to door with people, you do need to know this quantity. It's a numbers game. Find something that you can just, duplicate like really quickly and easily and just have a little, what do you call your thing? A 9-word sentence or a
Yeah,
6 word?
I call it the 9-word email. It's just a simple, "Are you still interested in getting more reviews?" And that's the only email I send, and they'll either people will say yes or no, but at least it's a clear, short message that they can respond to or not.
Right. So you don't want to put in too much effort before you ever get any sort of evidence that somebody's the least bit interested, right? But if you're going to do it like that with email, even picking up the phone, just know it's going to be a lot of reps. So have something simple that you can just fire off, like fire until you get some sort of response,
And
you
the
know?
great thing to do too, if you all have somebody that in life that is in some type of business, right? So just to get your bearings, get comfortable, just offer to do it for free for them for 30 days and say, "Hey, I have a new software that I want to demo for you. You can have it free for the next 30 days. And I'll give you a great deal after that if you want to keep it." And then just try one or two of these features and implement it for a friend or a family member or somebody close to you. That way, if it totally blows up, it doesn't work for whatever reason for you, then it's okay. But they know you're new and you're not blowing a sale. But if it works, they're going to be your best advocates to all their other business friends to scale this thing up.
Absolutely. And you can always, there's so much power in framing things correctly. So that is a great idea. I highly recommend saying, "Hey, let me offer this to you for free." But another thing that you could do is you can just frame it and say, "Hey, so and so, let's say my friend Charlie," and I just say, "Hey, Charlie, do you think your dad would be open to me just asking him some questions about his plumbing business? I've got a great software company and I'm looking to get into that niche, but I just need to know if I could be helpful to that person, to a plumber."
Yep.
And maybe Charlie says, "Yeah." And so when you go and you sit down with Charlie's dad, don't start selling him because the thing is, you got to go in wondering, can I help this person? Not can this person help me? Because we can smell that a mile away, right? So if you're just going in there with curiosity and you're saying, "So can you tell me about these things? Like, what are your pain points? Like, do you have, is social media a big thing for you?" I know that seems strange. To me, it doesn't seem like social media would be a big thing for a plumber, but do you think that is? Or, and then start asking them, "Do you feel like you miss a lot of potential leads because you're on the job and you don't have a secretary?" Just start asking them those questions so that you can actually put together a perfect package. And if you do it right, honestly, they'll be like, "So tell me, why are you asking? Do you have something that could help me in this?"
Yep.
Like, well, actually, yeah, I can show you some things like you mentioned. So call out their pain, right? Like you mentioned that you feel like you miss a lot of leads because you're out there working a 12-hour day. By the time you get home, you don't have time to call them back, right? Like you were saying. And then the next day you're on another job and you can't really afford a secretary right now or whatever. Paint that picture for them and really they'll paint it for you. Just repeat it back to them. Say, "What this does is actually like, here, let me show you something real quick." Like, let's say, "What time do you get out of work?" "Oh, 5 p.m. So I'm just going to be like, hey, this is Bob, Charlie's dad. Can I call you back after 5?" And then just show him, because you can just literally show him on his phone how this works and he'll be blown away.
Yep.
It's like, and then you mention this and just give them the solutions.
Yeah. And what's great about that too is that they end up writing your script for you for the next similar industry person. So you're talking to the plumber and he's like, "Yeah, I always struggle with at the job, but the people are confused on how to pay me and I have to chase down money or whatever." Well, what would this do for you? And then you go to the next plumber. Is it always a pain in the butt every time you're at a property and the owner is struggling to figure out how to pay or whatever their problem is? But you get the point. They're articulating their pain point so that when you're talking to the next plumber, you're already coming in with their pain points, at least some of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's get into shifting over to more of the experienced online influencer type of people.
Yeah. So the beauty of this, if we started from the beginning, and maybe you didn't start from the very beginning of someone's business, right? But you started with them, maybe you sold them on a few features, or you took them from zero to where they are today, and they're ready to expand. A lot of these people who were service providers or are service providers, they have a future plan of just going from actually performing the services to being an expert in their field and being knowledge workers, right? Like I know influencer has a really bad connotation to it these days, but an influencer isn't just someone on social media, right? An influencer is someone influential in their field. You can be influential in real estate or plumbing or all of these things where a lot of people are, they want to have time. So maybe Charlie's dad is tired of working away 30 years of his life and he's ready to just do a YouTube channel or sell a plumbing course, or maybe he develops a product, right? That in the plumbing industry, you never know. But something beautiful to do with each and every client or potential client is talk to them about their future. Ask them where they see themselves. How far do they want to take this thing? Because some of them can't see that far, right? They don't have that long, far vision of their life. Or they might actually just have vision, but they're like, no, this is what I want to do. I want to keep it really simple. My job is not my life. And then you'll know, right? But in this case, hopefully you've been there along the way and you've helped them through high level and your tools. You've helped them grow. And now those very people are ready to expand. Okay. And that's where high level gets really fun because as they grow, you can just grow with them. So if you'll notice in these two columns, the list is the same. And if somebody's established, once they're well established, they're already going to have all of those things and you've serviced them in that way. And some people will already have those things. But then we also offer communities, we offer the course builder, and now we even have an e commerce store. And so this is really powerful. And the reason is because most platforms that do offer communities don't offer all this other stuff that we've already sold them on,
Right.
right?
Yeah, I'll just point that out here. This is a place called Kajabi, which a lot of people use to build their online courses and communities. And their pricing here is $150 to $400 a month or more. And they do just basically a few aspects of this. They do the course builder, they do some podcasting stuff, and they do communities. And here is their main thing. They do have some landing pages and things, but all this like Google stuff or social media posting, Google chat, missed call text back, tap to pay, reviews, none of that stuff do they offer. So you can go in and offer these same type of things to this audience and charge them 100, 200, $300 a month without feeling bad about it because other companies are charging that much just for a small set of those features.
Absolutely. And so, and it really, the beauty of this is that you can either catch someone in the beginning of their entrepreneurial journey, right? And so that's what we just talked to you about. But oftentimes you're going to find people who are already up and running or who are already in this stage of their growth, right? So what they are looking for is maybe they already have a community and they're already on Kajabi or they're in school or anything else, but they don't have those other features. So with high level, you can either come in through the front door or come in through the back door because chances are, because high level can do so much, chances are that there is something that they are using, maybe multiple softwares or whatever platform they're using, they're lacking one, two, or three of these tools, of these features, right? And high levels rolling them out every day as we go. And so the you never have to worry about like not having what the client needs, and that's our point with like the whole niche thing. Like don't worry about it, figure out what that person in particular needs and their pain right now currently, and then give them the solution to that, and then hold off, hold fire, and just let that relationship just build, and then come back and offer them this and offer them that, and just keep it rolling and keep that relationship building and keep your service sticky.
I think also just finding those things. Maybe you don't ever want to offer the social media posting tool or the reviews or anything like that. It's just not your thing. Maybe you make a whole business out of helping people build e-commerce stores or helping people build communities, and that's all you offer, landing pages and communities. And that's just your thing that lights you up. You can do so many different things and have so many micro businesses out of that. Or maybe it's reviews and you're like, I'm just going to be the review king or queen. I'm going to help every business in my local area and around the world get more reviews and get better reviews. And that's just your thing. And you call your software reviewlyapp.com or whatever it is. So you can build businesses in any type of way that you want to and be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing, if you'll pull up that list just so I can see it while I'm talking to y'all. So, when I'm sitting down with a potential client and I'm doing a consultation, right? And they're just beginning, I just want to plant the seed. So if I go up there to the website, I talk to them about the basic things that they're definitely going to need, right? Just to get started. But then I ask them about their future plans, like how far do they want to take it, especially as a coach. You're just starting off. It is a solopreneurship typically, right? So you don't have a lot of budget. Most of them don't, right? They need to be really active on social media. Let's just build your business. Let's get you a great website going. But what are your future plans? And if they say, man, I want to go digital. Really want to be a digital entrepreneur. I want to build my own courses. I want to have my own membership. And they start telling me about that, like, oh my God, that's so exciting. I cannot wait to help you do that because I can absolutely help you do that in the future. So let's get you there. Let's get you up and running. And then you're going to be blown away by what I can help you do using the same system. You'll never have to leave. And just plant that seed. Don't go into it. Don't tell them. You know what I mean? But a lot of times when people are going into the business for themselves, they're in that high dream. And that's awesome. That's a great place to meet someone because they'll start telling you about their future plans and they're super ambitious. Starting something is so exciting. And so they'll be like, oh, well, can you do this? Because I was thinking about using Kajabi because blah, blah, blah. Like, and then you can throw things in there like, well, do you plan on building a community? Let's say they talk about a course, right? Because courses were so hot and everybody wants to come out with a course because it's a very passive form of income, right? You work one time and then people can just buy it while you sleep. And that's why it's such a great thing, right? But if they start saying, "Well, can you help me? I want to build a course and this and that. I'm starting my coaching business." And you say, "Well, that's great. I have a beautiful place to like house your courses. It's really easy for you to build them there. But let me ask you this. Nowadays, like a subscription service is much more profitable. And that's where people are really leaning into because it's not just a one time payment, right? Like, if you really want to build a community and have as much impact as you'd like to have, you really want people being there with you monthly, right? And building that recurring income that's also passive. And so they're like, oh, yeah. And so now they're like, oh, this person knows what they're doing and they can really help guide me. Right. And so they say, well, what do you offer there? Like, oh, I can build you a whole membership platform. You know what I mean? And just like blow them away, even though they're not even there yet. So
Yeah.
just so you know, like what you have for ammunition doesn't mean you have to whip anything out, right? Just keep it. Maybe we'll edit that out, but y'all know what I'm saying, right? Like just so you know, going in, you have everything they could possibly ask for, but just find out the pain points and give them exactly what they need.
Yeah. And again, you can offer this to any niche you want at the beginning and just find who you really like working with. And maybe it's everyone, right? And that's okay because everyone tries to put you in a box of you have to work with a specific niche. I keep saying niche.
You're taking the middle,
Have to work with a
middle.
certain type of person because it's going to be a lot easier to scale when really it is. I mean, technically that is true, but you can also do that by selecting a few different types of products that high level offers and then using that to scale. So there's a lot of different ways to do it. And don't feel like, oh, I have to figure out who I'm going to target before I get started. No, start talking to everyone, offering simple things, and then see where that evolves into.
Yep, absolutely.
Awesome. So with that, guys, go to ghlfree.com. I'll get my little banner up here again, GHL and you'll get a free 30-day trial to High Level. You can try out all the features without paying anything right now, and then see if it's for you. Start getting some clients. Watch all of the other videos that we have on this channel. We talk about so many different features in High Level and ways to sell it. And then at the end of the 30 days, hopefully you have a lot of clients and you can figure out who you really want to target, if anyone, and how big you want this to go. And it could just be a lifestyle business for you. Maybe you make $5 or $10,000 a month with High Level, and that's great for you. Or maybe you want to scale it into a multi-million dollar company and sell it off one day. Both of those you can do with High Level.
Absolutely. And we just want to thank you guys for liking and subscribing. And we want you to know that your comments are really helpful. We know that this is a very how to channel, and we really want to answer your questions and be as specific as possible. So let us know your pain points, right? Let us know what you're struggling with, how the next video you'd like to see. We really are just here for you. So.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.